welcome to the 3inMidfield podcast, the podcast where three friends who all discovered food have their say on the Premier League. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are stacked. The ever-present coach, Koja -1. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What are you saying?
Not too shabby, not too shabby. Arsenal win it, so it is what it is. Mr. Darren T joins us again. How you doing, man?
I am well, thank you once again. Thank you for having me. It's always an honor and it's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure because you always come on when Tottenham win, so that's why it's always a pleasure. You go really your silence, bro.
Don't do this, bro. Don't do this because in May, I'm gonna get a flogging, right? So, like, don't do that.
You said it. It's nothing to do with us. You said, you may have said it on our podcast, but you said it, so it is what it is. Daps, how you doing, sir?
Welcome. Thank you for having me back on. How am I doing? Not as good as last time. I think last time you had me on, we were like probably about 15 or 16 games into a winning streak. And then our good friends in the top right corner decided to put that to an end. So I'm here. I'm here.
All good things must come to an end, man.
Should they? Really?
You couldn't win forever.
Tell Steven Gerrard that at the moment.
It's Scotland, bro. It's Scotland.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
No, I'm right. You know what? It feels better because we're still 11 points clear, but still wounded.
There you go. Ty, how you doing? First time. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. A pleasure to have me on. Thank you so much, Cahill. Kodjo as well. Obviously, I've been on multiple podcasts with him. So I think the timing's perfect. I'm going to just say that he knows why, because I've got a great guest over here in my fellow corner.
And our boy Usman's really coming to come and tell him about Ty. Yeah, here we go.
But no, honestly, guys, it's a pleasure to have me on. Everyone that's supporting right now, thank you so much. 3inMidfield, get liking and subscribing to their channel, man. Good people.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Martial FC, it always comes alive when he plays well. It's rare, but it happens, so it is what it is.
I've just remembered. I've got an ally with me on this fight against the ridiculous debate of Martial, that all of a sudden one good performance and everything's fine, apparently.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be a great pod.
Here we go.
But we shall save that debate for later. We shall start in North London. I guess we'll get this out the way. Arsenal 1, Burnley 1. Handball. Let's get a show of hands. Handball, yes or no?
What, Peters?
Wait, hands for yes or hands for no?
Hand for yes.
Wow,
Peters.
you got Spurs, man.
What, Peters? The Peters one?
Yeah.
That was a handball.
Bruv.
That was a certified handball.
That was clear handball.
Yeah. Put my hand up. That's a certified handball.
Didn't mean anything, and you didn't get it, and I'm happy, but it was a clear handball.
Yeah.
So let's start there, I guess. What's going on with the referees? It's constantly we're talking about the referees on this podcast. I guess everybody talks about these referees, how bad they are. But it can't keep getting worse and worse, can it, man?
I mean, it does. It does.
I don't know what to say.
Refereeing in this country has been a joke way before VAR, and now with VAR, with the addition of video assistance, they still can't get it right. That's a handball all day long, for me anyway. Stone cold handball. Honestly, don't know what else to say at this point. What else can we say that hasn't been said about the refereeing in this country? I don't know whether it's referees helping their guys on the pitch by sticking by the decision, even if they think it's correct or incorrect. I don't know. It's just at this point, I've run out of words. The adjectives are not there anymore to describe these men because they're just not good at their job. And anytime they get called out for it, someone like Espirito Santo coming to his chest and rightfully calling out something that was a poor decision, he gets criticized for it and he gets punished for it. You can't win. And referees, I know we had this discussion before about whether they should come out and talk or whether they should come out and discuss, pretty much let us know why they came to the decision they run. End of the game, it won't really matter, but I was saying that maybe it's a good idea just in case people don't really understand why they came to that decision if it's a close one. But for something like that, truth be told, if I was an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't want to hear from the ref because anything he says is going to make me more mad. That's a certified handball all day long. It's cost them a potential penalty which could have led to a goal. Never know would it have been saved, would it have been scored, we don't know. But at the end of the day, that's a goal scoring opportunity that's been denied by them from the penalty spot. So It's a disgrace. What more can we add to that?
I mean, Ty, you said it wasn't a penalty. So what's going on there?
For me, I think the question. Oh, is there feedback? Was it all right?
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. I think the problem is one with the refs is that now with VAR, the power for them has kind of been taken away. That they're now unsure. Oh, big up, Claudio. Thank you, supporting all the time, man. That the power now has been taken away from the refs, and now with these sort of calls, I feel like they're scared to make them now. So now we're seeing more scared decisions every week, and now they're leaving it to VAR, who are then, I feel, not even sure of themselves of what the decision is. And the fact that they keep changing the rule, for example, this is just a bit of a different example, but going to Wednesday last week, Fulham had a goal disallowed for a handball. Davinson Sanchez smacks the ball against Josh Mayer. He hits it into the back of the net. Was that a handball? No way. That should have been a goal given. But then the day later, they changed the rule. And the thing is, for example, if Fulham go down at the end of the season by a point, which I hope they don't, people will go back to that incident because that was a fair goal that should have been stood. With the penalty, I was having this debate at work, and I think what it is that handball to us, but handball to the rules are two different things. And this is where the problem is. There's a handball for the version of the rule, and there's a handball where us lot could just say, do you know what, is this a handball? Yes or no? For me, it wasn't a handball because he's just trying to jockey and his hand goes out there. But according to the rule, it's handball. And this is where the confusion will carry on going until they sort the confusion out. So for me, not a penalty. But that's simple as that, really. I just think that the rule is not clear enough, and it's making refs make bad and good calls, and they're not sure.
I feel like, I don't know. It felt from looking at it. I guess my eyes are kind of biased, but then again, it looks like to me that his hand goes towards the ball. It's not like his body or it's in an unnatural position already. It's not like he's jumping or anything. Like his hand's out and it hits the ball clearly. I'll get my hand in the play camera. Hits the ball clearly and it's a collision.
Pull it in real time, in real perspective. Like you're left back now, ball goes out, bang! Like your hand's just naturally going out because you're facing that way to go and jockey the ball, and the ball literally Pepe it hits his hand all like in a split second. And if that goes against you, I don't think you're going to be happy as an Arsenal fan. Like, do you know when you and the bottom line is you had enough chances to win the game. Forget the handball.
Let's get into the chances then, because obviously we got the goal. Aubameyang scores a similar goal to what he scored. I can't remember who it was against, but a very good skill and then the finish. Willian got the assist. I have to mention that. 2 assists, 2 games, I think. So is what it is. But I saw a stat that said he's got more assists this season than James Rodriguez.
That can't be true.
Apparently it is. Apparently it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope that's not true because people are going to try and do agenda against my boy.
I think Saka goes through next. Pass. I think it was pass from Aubameyang. He hits it wide. Should have scored that one. But obviously the second biggest talking point of this game is obviously the Granit Xhaka moment.
Darren is making me laugh down there, man.
You want to get on this, Darren?
Right. You're a Premiership footballer, yeah. Bro. You're a Premiership footballer, right? Do you know what the thing is? Thank you. Sorry, he's captain, isn't he? He's captain of his country, isn't he?
Oh, of his country.
Yeah. On top of that, right? I was on a Zoom call. And I looked over. I got my iPad in the corner, right, while I'm on the Zoom call. Yeah. Sorry to those who I was on the Zoom call with, but it is what it is, isn't it? Right. I'm looking and I'm thinking, all right, he's gonna boot the ball out, right? Because any sane individual is just gonna boot the ball out. Then all of a sudden I heard, what? What the hell just happened? What was Granit Xhaka thinking? What is anybody in their right mind? Not even a Sunday league footballer is gonna pass it across their box like that. That's like the first rule of defending, is it not?
With his weak foot as well.
On top of it, I didn't even clock that. On top of it, whatever foot it was, right? You could stoop down with your head and still know what to do with it. Do you know what I mean? It was that was disgusting. You know what? They should have punched them up in the changing room. That's what they should have done after the game. Just rush, man, or go through the tunnel of death. Did you not do the tunnel of death in school? Yeah, the tunnel of death or something like that. Because that's what you're supposed to get when you make a mistake that bad. It is this is top level elite football. And this is what you did now. bearing in mind I'm a Spurs fan, so I'm very, very happy he did that, and it was comical, and I'm gonna laugh a lot, right? But you know what? He should be getting flogged for that. Mikel Arteta should be gripsing him up and like slapping him across the face. That was so dead.
Is there any fault to be laid at Bernello's that feet?
No. The ball was at Xhaka's feet, right? If in doubt, kick it out, right? It's basic. It was just basic, right? You don't pass it across your box like that. He didn't even look. All you had to look and see is Chris Wood is right there in the middle. Listen, there's nobody at fault apart from Xhaka.
Did he get the assist?
Relax, bro. Relax. I mean, let's. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I'm fully laying the blame at Xhaka, but the common argument seems to be that Arsenal play a particular style of football. We play it out the back without fail, regardless of who's close to who and who's pressing who. Is there not per se a chance?
Yeah, exactly. I said no.
Let me
finish.
If the goalkeeper sees that there is a certain amount of danger surrounding a player that everybody knows, I imagine everybody in that team knows as well, isn't particularly good with his weaker foot, or in fact isn't particularly good, isn't there a chance or option for him just to hoof it long?
Bro. When he played that pass here, the area that he was aiming the pass in the first place, if he did it first time like it was intended to be, like it was supposed to be, there's no goal whatsoever. He let Chris Wood cover that and then proceeded to then boot it in the direction of the player. If it was on the ground, the guy he's just tapping of his life. He doesn't have to do anything. He's standing there, so shameless that it hits his side and he's doing our nice celebration from 2002 World Cup. Listen. Xhaka is a disgrace for that whole situation. Leno is not to blame. Arteta is not to blame. Referees are not to blame. Troops is not to blame. None of them are to blame. It's Xhaka and Xhaka alone. Like you said it, captain, international, experience, and you're doing that? Yeah. It's only you. Simple as that.
You know what? In answer to your question,
makes me laugh, by the way, I just want to drop in, is that we have on Never a Foul, we have an Arsenal podcast called The Arsenal Way, which obviously Daps me and sort out. And this week on their episode, they were like, first name on the team sheet, form of his life, Granit Xhaka. And then this happened. And I need to get the clip up. But it's sensational.
You know what? I was going to say, I've been seeing Xhaka's name being put alongside like the elites in that position this season off of Arsenal fans, and only Arsenal fans, may I add. But
not me, never me.
No. But going back to what you were saying about passing out from the back, what I was going to say on that is, I get it that certain teams is you always pass out from the back, but the amount of times this season I've seen Diaz or Stones in certain situations just boot the ball out. Just you know what? The ball has to go out.
I even thought that with you lot yesterday, and you bang on there, Daps.
There's sometimes it's like the one thing that Pep maybe has learned this and maybe started to say to them, do you know what, at times, just boot it out. Like, go back to old school Premier League defending. I like to see it.
Let's talk about Arteta, Daps. Are you seeing, because it was a decent game, I think it was a decent game for us, we just didn't finish our chances. Are you seeing a plan? Can you, as a Manchester City fan, say to Arsenal fans, trust the process?
Right, so I can, but at the same time, there's some things that confuse me, because I can, as far as I feel he's trying to do what Pep did at City. So City's first season was atrocious. Came in, we were trying to play out from the back with, I think, Sagna, Zabaleta, who else? Who would have been on the left then?
Clichy.
Was Clichy still there when Pep arrived? I don't know.
If not Kolarov.
But ultimately, we had players. Then we had Joe Hart, who City fans, we didn't want to see him go, but we didn't question it because we've wanted Pep forever. So he had to get the right resources in. Right now, the beauty is that what happened at City is it only took a season because Pep obviously went to the board and said, right, I need 1 or 2 left backs, 1 or 2 right backs, a new goalkeeper, blah, blah, blah. There you go. One summer sorted, right? The difference is Arteta does not have that buying power, right? So what Arteta is having to do is he's having to try and achieve what Pep achieved, getting the right resources to play the way he wants to. but it's going to take him longer because he's straight away he's had to cut a wage bill of 800,000 a week, right? So so he's having to. There seems to be a thing. I said this on a pod last night where Arsenal managers do not just have to be managers; they also have to help out the financing side with getting rid of players and all of that. Pep don't have to do none of that, right? The bit where I'm confused is because, if I'm honest, when we played you first couple of games of the season, you were playing out from the back sensationally. I was really, really impressed, and it seems to have gone backwards. And the resources haven't really changed, but the playing out from the back is not as good as it was at the start of the season. And that's what is slightly confusing me. But I do think he knows what he's doing. It's just going to take him a hell of a lot longer because of the whole resource thing. I think it's...
We'll stick to North London. Tottenham 4, Crystal Palace 1. Goals from Gareth Bale, Christian Benteke, Harry Kane got 2. Gareth Bale got 2 as well. Bale's back guarantee, right?
We'll see. Right?
Whoa!
Hear me. He's been brilliant the last few games. Yesterday was sublime. The passing, the off the ball movement, he was just controlling things there, right?
Things, I love that.
He's just like, but obviously we've got to be thinking about, the injuries. He's coming back from, barely playing at Madrid for the last 18 months or so. He's just coming back into form. I do believe his whole thing is peaking. He wants to peak for the Euros, right? So he's getting to that point. But Gareth Bale is quite fragile. So yes, when we look at his performances now, yes, Bale is back, but his body might say something different. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because it's brilliant.
Can I just say one thing? Golf courses open back up on the 29th of March, people. I'm saying.
Well,
is that it?
29th.
That's it?
They might do, but I tell you this much, he loves Wales, right? And he's gonna want to be at them Euros. So I kind of figured that he was gonna, his whole training program is gonna be geared towards the latter end of the season in time for the Euros, right? And I said, I don't even know where I said it, if I said it on Twitter or not, but I said they'd say I was going to be vexed if he's crap all season and he's going to then go on like a bad man at Wales. But now he's doing bits. He hasn't got the pace he had before, but he has got a great footballing IQ. Yep. You see, you're tapping your head just as I'm saying it, Tyrone. So yeah. He's got a great footballing IQ. His passing and the shooting is sublime, man. He's just got the technique. He's just class, isn't he? And I just loved watching him yesterday. I loved watching him. That is the closest I've seen to sort of vintage Gareth Bale before he left Spurs, and it was great to see. And the link up with him, Kane and Son. He's even making Lucas Moura look good. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Lucas Moura is good, man.
I just gave that a check as well while you were talking, because you said obviously he loves Wales, and I just had to go back to that picture where the Welsh flag, and it's had Wales, Golf, Madrid in that order.
Oh yeah,
you are right. You are right.
Do you know what? With Gareth Bale, right? I think Mourinho could have played a master trick. So when he was signed. Obviously, people know what the Gareth Bale was like when he was at Spurs, originally left back to a left winger, sensational. Went to Madrid, obviously won everything he can, and people were there saying, like, has he still got the hunger? Has he still got the belief? He wants to go back to Spurs because I think he loves the club. He wants to help them grow and achieve things. And at the start of the season, obviously it was a rocky road. He had the injury, and then he came back, had another little injury, and it was just like sort of niggle after niggle, and he couldn't really get a rhythm. But for me now, he's been fit for a little while. And I don't think he's hit full pelt until the last couple of games. But what I'm thinking is Mourinho could have been like, right, I know I'm not going to get the best out of Bale straight away. I know he's going to have to come in and sort of get on a muscular program, build his fitness and get everything back to where he wants to be. And I feel like now Mourinho has got himself in a position where he's like, if I can get into the last 12 to 15 games of the season and be within a chance of top 4, still be in Europa League. If I can get Bale just for 15 games at his top level, he will make a difference. And now Spurs are 3 points off top 4. They're still in Europa League. They've got a fresh Bale. They've got Lucas Moura now, and they've got a bit of depth in that attacking area. I think he's got Bale at the right time of where Mourinho would want him. And that is for the last 12, 15 games of the season and causing havoc.
It's a very good take. Very good take.
Causing havoc, but is that havoc going to end up with Spurs top 4 and potentially a League Cup winners medal?
I'll let Kodjo answer that.
I mean,
okay, he wants to say Europa League as well. We'll add Europa League in as well. Right?
no,
don't try it, Cahill, man. Stop it, man. Stop it. I come in peace today.
The reason about Spurs is obviously we've seen them go in a good run of form. Obviously, the argument was the fans weren't happy with the football at that time, but they were getting the results, and then the football for them wasn't good, and they weren't getting the results. Now they're playing in a lot more of an attacking brand of football. They got Lucas Moura playing in number 10, which is working quite well. Bale and Kane obviously hitting form. Son is trying his best to make sure he's not left out in terms of adding a goal or assist, so he's gonna do something. But that's what you need when you are gonna try and push to the highest level you can. You need more than anything your front three firing. Most teams have a front three in football these days, and they needed, as soon as they signed Bale, that was the talk. Bale, Son and Kane. What's gonna happen with that front three? Obviously, Son and Kane, they were doing their thing as a duo, but Bale's been unfit, and then when he played, he wasn't showing any sort of form. Now, he's in fantastic form. It looks like he hasn't really had time to, he hasn't needed time, to gel with everyone and be like maybe 3, 4, 5 games before I can now play with Son and Kane. He's doing it already. He's finding superb passes. He's linking up play. He's accelerating past players again, something we haven't seen in a long time. And more than anything, his decision-making is here. Because as these two said before, his IQ is here. So if they are going to push for the top 4, because they're not far from it. Look, they've got a game in hand. And if they win that, I believe they are 3 or 2 points off the top 4 already. That's how quickly it can change. Chelsea and Everton are playing each other today, for example. That's a big game for them to watch. If they both drop points and there's a 1-1, there's a draw, 1 point each, they don't go far away. If Chelsea win, they're the more informed side right now, but Everton are starting to get a bit of form themselves. But you never know with Everton. Chelsea will be more dangerous. It's all factors that they have to look at, but they've got big games coming up. They've got the North London Derby coming up at the Emirates, so they need to also show up for that before we can talk about them potentially pushing for that top 4 spot. But they can. And if they get it, I wouldn't be surprised. And they should go for Europa League. It's not about it's not because they haven't won anything in 13 years now. It's not about that. Forget about all of that. If you want to make it into the Champions League, you've got 2 options now. You've got the top 4 and you've got the Europa League. If you miss out on one, claim the other. Do your best to try and get into that competition. Yeah. Try and get to that level. The money of the Champions League will help them in this whole climate of COVID. You need as much money to come in as possible. You're missing out from fan money, from the state, and from ticket sales. So do something else. Bring in money from Europa League, get into the Champions League, get that money as well, and invest in the team. That's how they can build.
Sorry, did you say invest in the team, Daniel?
Well,
Levy?
I mean,
did you just say that?
I know it's not gonna happen. I know it's not gonna happen. But, you got to speak it. Try and speak into existence for you guys.
Them pipe dreams right there.
What is your take on that, Darren? Though, do you actually want? Do you think you go for both Europa League and top 4? You want to maintain full confidence in both? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I've said? I've said it on Twitter, right? That top 4 and Europa League is a minimum this season for us. Otherwise, I'll consider the season a failure. We've got a good enough team to achieve both. We've got to have our ambitions high. We've got a manager who's got the pedigree. Now, I'm losing my patience was wearing a bit thin with him. Let's be real, yeah, because the results in December, January were terrible, and as well as the football. But he seemed to have got it back now. So I've always said I want to give him till the end of the season and see. But I do expect, with the signings we've made, Dombele we signed before, but with Gareth Bale and with the front 3 that we have, and I believed before we had a well-balanced team, but defensively it's terrible. Toby has to be a mainstay, right? That's the only way he gets Davinson Sanchez playing, and even Eric Dyer but Eric Dyer should be dropped forever now. We should just stop that now. Huh?
I've never got centre back.
Jose loves him. Jose loves him, but
I remember Mourinho wanted to bring him in from Spurs at United, like 40 million. I was like, best to stay away.
Nah, man, I would have driven him there. You understand? Driven him right there. What are you talking about?
As a DM, I didn't mind him, but as a centre back, no, not a chance.
I don't rate him as a DM either. Do you know what? He's too prone to an individual error, right? Way too prone to individual errors. We've been seeing it for years. Years upon years. I remember going to watch him. I can't remember what game it was. It was a Champions League game at Wembley, and he was so poor. And he's not really changed. He's never kicked on. Like Davinson Sanchez, my patience was wearing thin with him. But for the last couple of games, he's actually been okay. But I think that's because he's got the guidance of Toby. I'd prefer Joe Rodon to be starting because I do rate him.
What about Tanganga? Because he's been used as a right back, but predominantly we all know that he's a centre back, and I think he's got the build and the athleticism to actually develop into a good centre back. What do you think of that? I
agree with you. But Jose believes he's a fullback, and you know what? He does a little job at fullback. He does a good job. Wherever you put him, he does a job. I'd like to see him more at centre back. However, I think Joe Rodon has a higher ceiling.
Okay.
So I would say Joe Rodon and would I say Toby at the back, right? We could do that. We need we need the Ben Davis. I'm not a fan of him. Matt Doherty, I just don't he's not it at all. I don't get, you know what? When Tottenham fans are talking about we'd rather have Trippier, then we're in the mud in that position. You understand? But if we can actually negate the individual errors now and kick on, I believe it can be done. Right? It's really on the individuals because most of our goals are conceded via individual errors. That's the problem. But I top four and a trophy. Nothing less. Yeah. I didn't think we were going to make top four before. But now we're so close. I want it now. Do you know what I mean? I want it all.
Moving like Arsenal under Emery, but it is what it is. We all know what happened in that year. But we move on.
Oh, Cahill, you know.
Just saying. It's facts. It's literally in the history books. You can't.
I'm just going to tell you this, lads, yeah? Tyrone and Daps, yeah? Cahill. I met Cahill 2 years ago, and this guy has been on me ever since, right? Right? This guy just wants to war all the time. He's always up for violence.
So what, are you two both agreeing to go on 3inMidfield next week after the North London derby together? Yeah,
bro, I have to come on here.
Yeah, it's a must.
I'm here for it, you know. I'm here for it.
You know what? I think after today's performance, I feel like Arsenal might be a little bit worried because if I'm honest, I thought the League Cup was ours. I was almost thinking we might not even bother turning up and we've still won it, right? But now I saw Bale yesterday and I'm like, oh, don't do this because Bale playing like that, Mourinho, like you said, remember, Ty, earlier, I think it was around early December, I was arguing with everyone on Never a Foul. I think it was 5v1, and I was saying you can't rule Tottenham out because of their manager. They're not the same Tottenham. They're not the Tottenham that don't win anything because they have a manager that has the pedigree to win things.
Yeah.
Then Mourinho looked awful for however many games, and now all of a sudden he's had Bale turn up, and now I'm looking at Mourinho again thinking, hold on a second.
Yeah, especially over 90 minutes.
Now, I want him to have a bad game against Arsenal because then that will tell me I don't need to worry as much. But if he keeps hitting this form, yeah, it could be a trouble for both of us, I think, Cahill.
I think the game against Arsenal, I don't think you need to take that into account because if he plays well against Arsenal, I mean, who hasn't played well against Arsenal? It doesn't really matter, does it?
To be fair, last when we played you last, we didn't play that well. To be fair.
You chose not to play good. That's very different than not playing good. You chose.
Can I use that one? Can I use that one when we talk about the City United game as well that we chose?
There we go. We'll move straight onto that game here. 2-0 to Manchester United. A shock result. 2 minutes in, Martial wins a penalty. Bruno Fernandes converts. Fernandes strikes again, and then a very good goal from your babes there, Luke Shaw. What happened there?
Bad B Thickums, yes.
Roberto Carlos.
You know what? Shaw's been good this season. I think the criticism of him always has been not contributing enough going forward. You know, I'm not a stats person, Gail, at all, but the number of assists that he had in the course of his first 5 years at the club was quite appalling overall, if I'm being completely honest. But in this year, even if his numbers are still not very high, you can see the intent in his play. You can see he's a lot more intentful. We haven't seen that since he had that link up with Memphis Depay on the left just before he got injured. We haven't seen that sort of energy going forward and being assured defensively. And so we haven't seen that in a while, and then he's doing it this season. So it's finally like, okay, good. You know, and the only reason we criticize him more than anything is because it shouldn't have taken Tellez to come in to give competition, in my opinion, before we saw Shaw rise up. I understand injuries can take a time, but he's been fit for a while. So I want him to show a little bit of form somewhere. But regardless of that, yesterday, he really stepped up to the occasion. Bear in mind, he was 50-50 to start the game. They weren't sure about starting him. He was struggling clearly within the game with an injury. He wasn't completely there. He was on the floor.
Yes. When he stayed down.
He took a fitness test before the game, and it was apparently worse than Martial, by the way.
When he stayed down, when he went down, the commentator said, I don't really know what he's doing there.
He wasn't meant to be playing.
Now,
he's been struggling. So for him to be struggling like that and to pull out a performance like that, it's commendable. It's as simple as that. The way he took the goal, what impressed me about it the most is the fact that he took the first touch to really tee himself up. That touch just to really compose himself and then hit in the far corner. I have to respect that. That's a great finish for someone that doesn't get goals. And so you don't expect that in his locker, and that's a very good finish from him. And yeah, I'm happy with the performance overall. If we're going to get into the game, I mean, Martial played very well as well. I've been very, very critical of the boy. Very, very, very critical. Because everything that he did in the game against City is what I've been asking for all season. That's literally what it is. If you do it, I have to shut my mouth and I have to praise you. But he hasn't been doing that. So for him to have performed like that yesterday was very key. It's a very big game to perform in, but it has to become a more consistent thing. Goals will come and go, but if you just show performances that are at least respectable, fans can never get onto your case. He had a great game yesterday. We played all right. I won't say we played fantastically well as a team. We played all right. Someone still has to leave the team right now. I think Ty knows exactly what I'm talking about. In the midfield area, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say his name right now. But
I don't know who you're talking about.
There are two players in that midfield.
He's meant to be from South. He's meant to be from South America, but I think he's from like Hong Kong or something. I don't know.
It's definitely not Scott in this situation. Yeah. So yeah, no. Honestly, I'm quite impressed with this performance, but I need more. I want it to continue now. I want another good performance and then another one after that. I don't want to have a good performance and then go back to wherever. But this game alone, fantastic. Happy with the W.
Tony Martial obviously gets the goal. He's on the pillow back there. So Martial FC is very much alive, especially when it comes to when he plays big games. He does like playing against Liverpool, but he played against City.
He loves playing City as well.
He turns up in a big game. So is it easy to make your case for Martial starting?
To be fair, I didn't expect him to start at all. When he had a late fitness test, I thought he'll pass it, but I thought, and let's be honest, the form he's put in this season, I didn't expect him to start such a big game. But Ollie said in his post-match, pre-match conference that he thought about last season and what happened. And in that first 15, 20 minutes last season, we were brilliant and we should have been maybe 2-3-0 up. We had a good amount of good chances. So for him to be fit enough to start, I was really shocked from going through a fitness test and then being able to start. But what a performance. I'll be honest, yes, I've got the pillow, but I'm going to be real about it. What I've seen from him this season, I've been disappointed, but I've always backed him. And I've always backed him because I know what he can do. And I'm just waiting for it to come out. And I'm like, can it please come out? Can it please come out? We look at last season, 23 goals. I don't know how many assists, but 23 goals, top scorer across all the competitions after lockdown. He was brilliant. He was the focal point in the attack, hold up play, link up play, brilliant on 1-2 touch movement, strong, can win the ball headers, like head in the air. And I just think, like, when all our front four play well, and this is me, people might disagree, when our front four all play well, he's the best player. because he's just the link for everything. I think if everyone's on their top form, he's overall the most complete forward we've got. And yesterday, Diaz Stones, they didn't know whether to go in with him, track him. He was running in behind. He was just a complete nightmare. And I was so relieved for him to get that performance, because I feel like because Cavani wasn't starting, and how commentators and everyone goes on about Cavani this, Cavani that, Cavani's not scored that many goals, but he works hard and people praise him because he works hard. Martial doesn't work as hard, so that's where he's a bit more scapegoated. And I thought today would be an easy target. We go and lose 2-0 to City and don't really offer nothing. Who does everyone go to? Martial. But he wins the penalty, and then throughout the game, he's playing just so well and growing in confidence. And to see him go off with a smile on his face, I was buzzing. Like, the only thing that he could have done, is I'm going to be critical, is that he should have scored. He had a clear-cut chance, and like top strikers score that. So for me, like last season, he bangs that in. But because his performance was more complete away from obviously scoring a goal, I'm just delighted for him. I do want to actually shout out Harry Maguire as well. I don't think he's getting enough.
Thank you. At last, we're going to move on from talking about Martial. This is last. We're going to move on and give some credit to other people.
But yeah.
Person.
Oh, mate, he's getting in his feelings. But no, but actually, just quickly before I go on to Maguire, though, I did want to make a point. I was chatting to my friend about this, Biz, he does podcasts, and he was saying, if you look at stints of managers in recent years that do well, Martial's always been on form for him. So when Oli came in straight away, he was on form, and when we were banging goals. At the end of the last season, he was playing well, and then he was scoring goals. Mourinho took him out the side when Alexis Sanchez signed. He had got Player of the Month in September, October, and December. And then Sanchez signed, got shunted out the squad. So when he's actually confident and playing well, Manchester United, and I said this to you, Kojo, if he plays well, Manchester United play well. And that's what I have to say for him. But Harry Maguire, I think yesterday there was some crucial interceptions that he made. I think the organisation of defence was one of the best I've seen it for United in a long time, especially in a big game. First 20 minutes, we pressed so high. I was like, why is Eric Bailly not on the pitch if we're going to do this? But City weren't making runs in behind. And I think it played into our hands that City kind of got it wrong, not playing Bernardo or Foden. And we got it right, pressing high in the first 20 minutes, getting the early goal. And then after that, I just think we unsettled City and we made them not play their game because they're not used to going behind. So I thought it was a good performance. City weren't bad, but I just think they had a lot of they had a lot of half chances, not clear cut chances.
I mean, what went wrong, Dap? So obviously, everybody going into that game, everybody thought that was going to be absolute hammering.
Apparently, what went wrong is Martial turned up. Apparently, so
man of the match. It's the facts. That's like a little rhyme. I might make a track to that.
I came on last night and I agreed that Martial was good, but honestly, the fact that you spent like 10 minutes talking about Martial, then like giving the defense a 1 minute, like, by the way, the defense was all right. It just sums up the agenda. Right. Everyone says that people have agendas against Martial. People don't. People have too much of an agenda for Martial that makes people have an agenda against him. United were really good yesterday. Martial was really good. I think McTominay was good. I think Rashford looked tired, to be fair. He looked very tired. Surprised me because probably Rashford, he wasn't the one with the fitness test, right? But I think when we touch on Luke Shaw, when they scored the second goal, I think I'd looked away for a second or I was doing something. And then I saw the finish. Only today did I see the whole move, right? And the fact that Luke Shaw started that run, right?
Started from Dean Henderson throw.
The throw was kind of Schmeichel-like, maybe not quite as far, but the throw was good. But the way Shaw picked it up, drove at the defence, and the way when he played the ball, he carried on his run. And like you said, when the ball was played back to him, the way one touch, bang, and the finish was Aguero-esque. So,
can I ask you something? I watched the goal back, right? And there's a bit where when Shaw gets the ball in his chest,
Fernandinho would have stopped it.
There you go. I was going to say, KDB, I was watching with Sam today and I was like, KDB does not take him down. I said, Fernandinho takes him down there and that's a yellow. And that's the difference.
When we played Tottenham and Tottenham beat us, both of Tottenham's goals, I said Fernandinho would have stopped them round about
shocked them.
And when we played Liverpool once, Bernardo Silva tried to do what De Bruyne did, trying to catch up and whatever. Fernandinho ran, overtook Bernardo Silva, just pulled the player down, and then looked at Bernardo Silva as they walked off and said to him, "Pull him over."
I'm glad you noticed that because I've not seen no one pick that up today, not on Twitter. I was thinking, if that's Fernandinho, he pulls Shaw down there.
Yeah, and the Goat Boys said that they thought Rodri maybe wouldn't have started and that Fernandinho might have started yesterday. But I think Pep got it wrong. I think the other thing I said on Friday, although Cancelo has been really, really good this season, I thought maybe with the pace of Man United, maybe Walker, there was a call to have Walker in his pace. But the big one, Ty's already touched on it, Bernardo Silva should have started the game. It's that simple. I said early doors, and when about September, October time, I was in a wild statement season, and I think at one point I said, if I don't see either or Bernardo Silva, and Bernardo Silva and Foden starting, then I might start screaming Pep out, right? Because without either of them, we just seem to lack energy. And when I saw that neither of them were starting yesterday, and I feel for Foden because he hasn't started either of the league games against United this season. He played in the League Cup and was sensational. Yeah. So I think Gabriel Jesus got rattled in the 2 minutes, and then after that he was piss poor. Diaz, bad game. Marshall pocketed Diaz. I don't think Stones had a bad game. I think Stones looked positive. Stones was trying to make things happen. And then De Bruyne shouldn't have been on the pitch. It's that simple.
Do you think Pep tried forcing him in? Because Bernardo and Foden, let's be honest, I think you lot might agree, but since obviously before he came back from injury, City were looking good with Bernardo in there. They were looking good. And I was surprised that he just dropped him and Foden and put KDB in. I was thinking, is he forcing it?
You know what? With the whole KDB thing at the moment, I kind of feel for Pep slightly, right? For any other manager, I would feel for, maybe not for Pep, in fact. Because when you have a player that, like, Kevin De Bruyne has not been in form all season, okay? However, Kevin De Bruyne is still, I think, top of the assist league, right?
19, I think. But
right. So when you've got a player that can, even when he's not in form, do play passes that win you games, it's very difficult to leave him out of the team, right? Because it's like, if I leave him out, that might be that one pass that wins us the game.
Yeah.
But like you said, we look more fluid without Kevin De Bruyne this season. So with anyone else, I'd get it. The reason why I'm not giving Pep that pass is because Pep is a systems man. Pep is a guy that it does not matter about the players, it is about the system. So if it matters about the system and not the player, Kevin De Bruyne should not have started yesterday because his form has been dog shit. And the opening 20 minutes, I think the opening 20 minutes was your best spell.
Yeah.
How many times did De Bruyne give the ball away?
Oh, his passing, I was like, I felt like he had a hangover, honestly.
You know what? We needed De Bruyne to have passing like Xhaka, yeah? Because then we might have scored. Like, if you know that assist he got? Yeah?
Wow.
Do you know what I would say? Do you know what I'd say, right? Is that I've been seeing it on Twitter, and then when I saw people saying it, and I'm like, for real, Kevin De Bruyne is kind of slowing things down a little bit, right? But when you were going on that winning streak, when he was injured, you got Foden, you got Gundogan, you've got, as you said, Bernardo Silva. They're very much more dynamic than Kevin De Bruyne, and I think you needed that yesterday, right? Against an equally dynamic Man United side, you know, a team to really go at them. Because I do think Man United, if you really go at them, they can be prone to crumble. They can be prone to crumble. However, I think you were just a little too
pedestrian.
There's the word.
You know,
there's the word.
You know, the two most dynamic players, I think, for City yesterday, certainly in the first half, right, was Zinchenko and
very good.
And John Stones. Both of those two were trying to drive forward with the ball. But the other thing that I kind of thought about as well is we've been having a chat recently in our in the Never Foul group chat about captains. Now, for me, Kevin De Bruyne is not a good captain, right? I don't know if you ever watched De Bruyne, but he strops a lot. You will. And listen, I still think Kevin De Bruyne is a world-class, amazing player.
Champions League quarterfinals, anyway. But yeah,
he does strop a lot, right? He strops a lot. He moans at people, and he was stropping yesterday again. And I don't think you can be a captain and strop. That can't be one of your qualities.
But you know what it is though? It's the era of football now where I think I hate doing the blame Ronaldo and Messi thing, but sort of like it's not even their fault, but it's kind of falls on them. Messi became captain because Messi's not a leader in terms of being a leader on the pitch in terms of what he from previous captains, but because he's clearly the best player in the team by far, by miles, he took the leadership. So that's what it became at certain clubs. I mean, like for example, Van Persie, you wouldn't look at him as a leader. He was Arsenal captain at some point,
I say Arsenal started that trend, to be honest, because when Vieira left, it went straight to Henry, and I don't think Henry was a captain per se.
True. That's true. That's true, actually. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. So that's what it's become now. That's why when we had an interview with Steve Eyre, he said the game is lacking captains, lacking leadership, because it's all about the ability now. Ability is seen higher than leadership, and people don't understand when you have a captain that can, galvanize the team. So it's not about them having the higher ability, because Roy Keane was never the best player at Man United. Neither was Vidic, but they had that thing about them that made the team
they had the aura. Yeah,
exactly. And Vieira was only second to Thierry Henry, so he wasn't the best player at Arsenal, but he was still ridiculous. But he was a leader. On top of all the ability, he was a leader. But quickly, just on De Bruyne, I think it's difficult when you've got such a top player in your team, and he's had such a major contribution to City's success in the past. When he's fit, unfortunately, he walks in. He's like Harry Kane. Harry Kane was injured a lot of the time for Tottenham. They got to the final without him. Their form in the league wasn't great. We all knew he wasn't 100% fit for the final. But Pochettino said it. When Kane is available, Kane has to start because he has that quality.
But not Pep. Pep doesn't usually do that, though. That's the whole thing.
That's the thing. But with KDB, every time he's come back from injury, unless it's like a game where they feel like they're going to win, like Arsenal, for example. No, it's true. It's true. Like Arsenal, for example, if they feel like they're going to win it, KDB can start on the bench, or he can come and start for 60 minutes and then get off.
Run around,
That game would have been perfect for a Phil Foden,
Honestly, it would have. Arsenal,
he came on, he had a chance straight away, actually, to be fair.
Exactly. When it comes
young
to
and hungry, and he hates Man United. What more do you want?
There you go.
He put AWB on his bum twice in like 20 minutes.
When it comes to Man United versus Man City, no matter the form guide, something always gives.
Styles make fights. It's just like boxing, man. It really is.
Literally.
If we played a Man City type of team every week, we would get better form. But Kojo, I echo what you said. We could beat City, and then we've got West Ham next week on Sunday. I would not be surprised if we go and draw. I would not be surprised.
There you go. Exactly. So that's what it is about Man United and Man City is City have been infinitely better than United in the last decade, but there's been games where you expect City to win, like the game where if they won it, they would have won the title. They were 2-0 up, and then out of nowhere the game changed like that. United doing the double over City last year, no one saw that coming. Yeah, we all know City are better than Man United in terms of an overall team, but in these kind of games, it's different. But that's why I agree with you also that Pep sometimes has to make the choice and say, is this what will benefit my team in this scenario? Because I was praising City for not getting counter-attacked and not getting pressed, but in this game, Man United were able to do that easily. It didn't make sense. So, there's a lot to learn from them, but they'll probably still win the title anyway, so it don't really matter in hindsight.
Let's get a final question about Manchester City. So obviously, like you just said, they're key favourites to win the title, but is this a game that worries you? It seems like it's a one-off. But one-offs come in the Champions League. They come off in the League Cup finals and stuff like that. So are you worried going into those games about City's off days per se?
Who, me?
Yeah, Dash.
Look, of course I am. I slightly. I always get on at Ollie about Ollie not getting them over the line. Right now. Will we win the league? I believe we will win the league because the league is not one-off individual games where it's a one mistake. I do believe we'll win the league. However, could Pep get it wrong against Tottenham and Jose get it right and Bale have a good game? Yes. Right. Could Pep we're Galatasaray, we're through to the next round of the Champions League. Don't know if Tottenham, they're not, are they? No, okay, cool. Sorry, just mentioned the quarters earlier, so I just thought
Okay.
But the next round of the Champions League, where it's two games, Do I worry he'll get it wrong? Hell yeah, because he did it last season against Leon. Sorry, he gets it wrong sometimes. He overthinks things, or sometimes, you know what? Sometimes I think people say he overthinks it. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe sometimes actually, just like other managers, he gets it wrong. Like yesterday, he got it wrong, and Ollie got it right. So,
are we going to Liverpool?
We are. So
Yeah, let's do. Yeah,
Pa,
please.
pa, pa, pa. We have a special guest. Laura, if you are watching, please stay. Love you. Daniel, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, better. I've slept on our 6 home defeat in a row, so yeah, feeling better. I think, yeah, I am, of course, because last night, I don't know if you guys saw, what's it called? Meghan and Harry had the interview, so that was all over Twitter. So as if Twitter forgot about Liverpool, I was like, calm, let me forget about Liverpool as well. Still,
well, at least there's 6 of us and 6 losses. It matches.
Oh,
and 6 Champions Leagues too.
Okay.
So we'll get into the game. Obviously, Mario Lemina scores in the 45th minute. Apart from that, nothing really happened. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold came on. He put a few crosses in. He had a few chances there, but nothing I'd say clear cut. 6 defeats in a row. I mean, it seems are you guys the worst defending champions? Yes or no?
Yeah. At this point in time, you can't not say yes. If you'd have asked me like 3-4 weeks ago, I would have defended Liverpool, but not even a defending champion. A team in the Premier League cannot lose 6 home games in a row. Any team from 1st to 20th. So if a team is losing 6 home games in a row, you're the worst defending champions. I don't need to see no stats. I see what I'm seeing on my TV. And it's not as if we've lost to 5 of the other top 6 and Leicester. We've lost to Brighton, Burnley, Fulham.
And them, man.
Literally.
It's the type of team.
Big up Mel.
Literally, it's the type of teams and types of defeats. Cahill said nothing really happened. Cahill was being nice. Fulham battered Liverpool in the first half. If an alien came to watch the game, they'd think Fulham are the defending champions and Liverpool are battling for relegation. No joke. And it's beyond ridiculous, man. At this point in time, it's ridiculous.
I mean, was it simply a case that you guys didn't take Fulham seriously? Because I mean, if you look at that lineup, I'll just go from your bench. Trent was on the bench. Marnie was on the bench. Fabinho was on the bench. Curtis Jones was on the bench. Thiago was on the bench. So it seems like you had a team full of youngsters, especially in the defensive line. But then again, that's no fault of your own because of all the injuries. But Jota and Shaqiri Jota on the left. Jota's really been playing well when he plays centre mid, and Shaqiri as well. That seemed like you just weren't taking him seriously, and they caught you out.
I'll say yes and no. The reason why I say I can't say we weren't taking them seriously is because all those players that you mentioned now on the bench were playing when we lost the previous 5 games. So it's not as if they played, we would have won. These players have been playing bad, and I feel some of these guys had to be dropped to the bench. Mane has been, for me, on par with Timo Werner and Martial this season, if not worse. He's been poor this season, so he needed to be benched. Fabinho just come back from an injury, so fair enough. Trent, his form has been okay, but he also needs to be shown that you can't be put in subpar performances and still be playing for Liverpool. So when I saw the lineup, I was annoyed, but then I was also thinking, like, these guys have been crap. So if they played, would the result have been the same? I think so. I don't think we were going to win yesterday, and it's sad.
I would say, we have to give credit to Fulham.
100%. 100%.
Because at the end of the day, he is, they were completely and utterly in the mud, right? Nobody thought they were going to stay up or had a chance of staying up. He signed Lookman, he signed Loftus-Cheek, he signed Josh Maja, 3 great, they were academy prospects, right? 3 great players he's got a very technical team, great technical players, right? And the dynamism and the cohesion they have now, maybe leave a little bit to be desired defensively, but going forward on the counter attack, like Fulham are great, and I think it's testament to Scott Parker for turning it around, for making those strategic signings to turn that around. So it didn't necessarily surprise me that Fulham beat Liverpool, because Liverpool weren't in great form. They very nearly drew with us the game previously.
They should have drawn.
Yes,
They should have drawn.
Yeah, we'll brush that one aside. Yeah, they didn't, and they beat you, right? However, they've been putting in good performances. The only problem is getting those wins over the line, because they've had about 11 draws or something like that this season. So it's just getting that over the line. I think the signing of Josh Maja may add a little extra to that, but I have to give, we got to give them credit for that as well, for that.
I think the most impressive thing as well with Fulham is that when you just mentioned about Lookman and Loftus, specifically, I want to mention them. In a team like Fulham, you've got to know that you're not going to have loads of the ball. However, when they do have the ball, I think they play some good stuff. Like against Spurs, I thought they were really good in the second half.
They handled that second half.
They did. And with Lookman and Loftus, I think something that they have, which not loads of teams have in the Premier League, is ball carriers. Loftus can pick up the ball, Lookman can pick up the ball, and they can take 20, 30 yards and get you up the pitch. And I think for a team like Fulham, that is so, so valuable. And I even think the addition, I know you mentioned some good names, but I think even Joachim Andersen from Lyon, the centre-back, he was linked to some top club.
He's probably the best signing out of all of them.
Yeah. Well, he goes.
Go on, Ty, you finish.
Yeah, sorry. Joachim Andersen, like you lot just agreed, is a brilliant signing. Coming from Lyon, played in the Champions League, been in the League One, and I know it's the French league, but he's still playing against elite sportsmen in the top division. And like I said, he was playing in Italy before. He was linked to top clubs, and he's come in, and I think he's captain now as well. He's just given them that lift and that experience of know-how to be at a sort of a top club. I think it's this sort of Scott Parker's got it bang on, man, with the signings, and people can say you can make too many signings. He's made the right signings, it looks right now.
Ones.
What I was going to say is the other signing, and I'll be 100. I haven't seen too much of Fulham, but I'm asking you guys. The other signing they made, the other centre back from City, Tosin.
Yeah, he's done well as well.
Yesterday, colossal. Both of them, anything that came their way, they dealt with.
They're mobile, though, and as a centre-back partnership in this Premier League era now, you need to be mobile. And Joachim Andersen and Tosin are like that. And even big up Ola Aina, like they've got a mobile team. Anthony Robertson up and down the flanks. They're fun to watch. It's just whether they can get themselves over the line. But I believe
where did they get Robinson from? Sorry,
Robinson come from Wigan Athletic.
Okay, because he was going on with things against us.
Anthony Robertson was phenomenal for Wigan in the Championship.
He was meant to go to AC Milan in the summer.
That guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, he's a really good player, man. Like he just gets up and down the flank.
Strings, man.
Yeah, brilliant. Like it really is. And even Areola, they've got someone who's experienced from PSG. And that save yesterday from Jota.
Yeah.
Just want to give another shout to Scotty P. I'm calling Scotty P now. Is because yesterday, I think we've all said that Liverpool down the right hand side of the defense is not good. We criticised Trent. We've gotten to Joe Gomez a lot as well. But it's not just a Trent and Gomez thing. After watching this performance as well, I know they're young defenders. I know they're inexperienced in terms of playing at the higher level. But that right hand side for Liverpool has been a problem for a long time when it comes to defensive mistakes, especially this season against Leeds. I said it time and time again. The first game of the season, most of the goals came from that side, bar Van Dijk being sloppy, and then obviously Bamford taking opportunity. Aston Villa, a lot of goals came from that side as well. Yesterday, Lookman received the ball so many times because all you had to do was attack that side. If Robertson is there, Robertson's good defensively, so I've got time for him. He's good. If Robertson's on the other side, you don't go for him. You go for the other side. You go for the side where you know there's not going to be cover. That's where Liverpool are missing Henderson in the midfield, because when Trent goes, Henderson covers. Henderson joins the attack when Liverpool are comfortable. When Liverpool know they've got the game and they're sailing, he'll do his thing and he'll add a goal to his game and do his thing. But that right-hand side defensively is just not good enough. Lookman received the ball so many times, was driving down that side so many times, was just attacking. Even when Mitrovic came on, a pure number 9 target man, not really the quickest, not really that mobile. he drifted off to the left as well. He was waiting to go to that side and really attack from that side. That's something that Klopp really needs to address now, because he needs to find a solution to that problem, because teams are just going to keep targeting that side over and over and over. It shouldn't be that easy to target one side throughout a season for one team. You have to address that. I understand the injury issues at the back. We get it. But if Daniel can tell us that it's not an excuse, I'm not trying to hear it. If he's a Liverpool fan, I don't hear excuses anymore from anyone else. The fact is, before Trent, after Trent, during Trent, that side has been an issue for a long time. You need to deal with it. You need to figure a way to find it fast. Whether it's Wijnaldum now taking that role because he has the energy, tend to do it. Whether it's Milner, who, by the way, Liverpool just shouldn't be playing anymore, point back period. His time is up. Unfortunately for him, he's done a lot. He's done a lot in his career. He's 35 years old. Might be time to move him on.
Yeah.
They have to address that. And I will say this as well. Someone needs to start praying for Sadio Mane, because I don't know what the hell has happened to this guy.
Yeah.
I honestly do not know what's happened to him. I don't have the words anymore. The game they lost previously, when Salah played the ball over the top and he miskicked it, I was lost for words. I was genuinely lost for words. I didn't know what's going on with him. And Salah, I know forwards are not defenders, but for him to be sleeping for that goal, which Lamina took beautifully, by the way.
Yeah.
Early strike. Don't let Alisson settle. Took the ball, bang. That's how you should be scoring goals. He needs to be a lot more alert as well. But I also feel like he's tired, because I feel like he's the one Liverpool forward that hasn't been afforded a rest whatsoever this season.
Yeah. Because he can't. When you have a striker, a number 9 that's allowed to score 6 goals in 30 plus games, or because he does a no-look pass, or because he tackles, he gets away with it. So, like, I feel so sorry for Salah, because, like, if you look at the insult from our fans that Salah gets compared to Firmino, you think that Salah's on Firmino's numbers. And people say, oh, but all he does is score goals. Look, the first 14 games Liverpool played, we conceded 19 goals. In the next 14 games, this run now, you'd expect us to concede more goals. We've actually conceded less goals in the first 14 games. We've only scored 11 in that period.
Wow.
Compared to 34 in the first 14 games. So I'm sorry. Salah should be exempt from any criticism from any Liverpool fan until he leaves, because every season he's been here, he's turned up. Mane hasn't this season, so that's why I think people are cutting him some slack. But Firmino, nah, man, it's time to go or be a squad player.
Thank you, Daniel, man.
For me, no. For me, no.
Nah, he's awful. Not awful, but like,
he is awful.
But I just want to say thank you for getting me on. People, make sure you subscribe to 3 in the Midfield. You know what? One of the best channels for coming on and actually just talking football without too much banter. Still a bit banter, but
Thank you.
We will catch up soon, and I'll leave you lot to discuss the rest of Liverpool's beautiful drop.
Blessings.
Thank you, Dad.
When do you think this falls on Klopp, by the way? Like, forget all this injury talk. When do you people actually start needing to look at Klopp, or do you think they just need to leave it and he'll be back next season once he's got his players like backfired?
Nah. You can't lose 6 games in a row and be exempt. I'm sorry, you can't.
Okay.
For me, I think the Chelsea game was when I was like, because I was a bit on the edge, but the Chelsea game for me was when I lost it. The reason being is I'm seeing Wenger traits in Klopp, and Cahill will understand what I mean. When you see something is clearly not working, Liverpool need a rebrand of the team. I'll scream it. Salah needs to go.
I don't know about that.
The thing is, I don't think
scorer in the league.
I don't think Salah needs to go, but I can understand him. But the thing is with Jurgen Klopp, he definitely has to take some blame, and I wouldn't say it's ungrateful, because Klopp is not God, he's not Jesus Christ, he's not Muhammad, whatever religion you believe in. He's not perfect. He's a human being who's allowed to make mistakes. Against Chelsea, we were playing a high line for 30 minutes, And you saw Timo Werner could have had a brace. He had a goal that was offside, and he had the chance when he tried to lob Alisson. What does he do? He keeps playing a high line with Kabak and Fabinho on the halfway line. And if you saw Mason Mount's goal, he was running at Fabinho, and then Trent had to come back, and then he didn't cover. For me, that's a mistake. You're playing 4-3-3, the same 4-3-3 that you've been playing throughout. Before, it used to work because you had Henderson and Wijnaldum. Their legs, they're going to cover Gini, they're going to cover Robbo and Trent Alexander-Arnold. But you can't ask Thiago, you can't ask Curtis Jones, you can't ask these man who are creative players to be doing what Hendo and Gini are doing. And I've been seeing the same thing over and over and over again, apart from when he tried to go 4-4-2. So for me, he has to take some blame. People, like, obviously, I'm not Klopp out. Definitely not. But to say that he's blameless, come on now. He's not perfect.
Okay, good. I like it. I like this guy, man.
No, Dan. Listen, Daniel's from Footy says just like me. Yeah, listen. Daniel's not the one I want. I'm saying his name right now on this show too, bro. Every show I'm going on, I'm saying his name. Harold, show yourself. All right, there we go.
Nah, good man. Honest. Yeah.
Let's get for I guess one final question, kind of on Klopp, but considering that Steven Gerrard has now won the league for Rangers, obviously there's going to be a lot of talk about his return to Liverpool. Should Klopp start worrying? Should he start looking behind his back?
No. I don't think he should be looking. I don't think he should start getting worried because Gerrard and Klopp's contracts both come to an end in 2024. And when he renewed his contract, he got asked about it. So I think Klopp knows that Gerrard is being prepped for the job. Me personally, I don't want Gerrard unless he just improves. Then yeah, but for me, just because he's won the league title at Rangers, I'll ask you this: if Steve McLaren went to Rangers and won the league title for Rangers, would his name being thrown next to Liverpool? No. So it shouldn't be the same with Steven Gerrard.
It's not the same though, is it? Like, because Steve McLaren is Steve McLaren, isn't it? Like,
Gerrard is your legend.
Yes, not even because you know what, you know, former players don't always make great managers. Let's talk.
Okay, guarantee. Okay, let's say it was Clarence Seedorf because he's a former player. If he went to Rangers and won the league, his name would be nowhere near the Liverpool job. And what Kojo said is right, is because he's a legend. And for me, I hate this thing of just because you're a legend, you should get a job. Look at Pirlo at Juve. He's got the job, and they're nowhere near the.
That is true. That is true. But I don't know. I'd maybe give it a few. As you said, their contracts run out in 2024. Yeah. Let's just take it from there. I've always thought Steven Gerrard because, like, I'm gonna tell you, as my favorite non-Spurs player, one of the favorite ever non-Spurs players is Steven Gerrard, and I just feel like I always felt like he just knows the game. And he just knows he will take it into management as well. And the way he won the league emphatically in Scotland, it was, Celtic did have a stranglehold on it. And he's emphatically won it, He's destroyed. He's blown Celtic.
He's destroyed it.
He hasn't lost
He
a
won
game
it
all
quickest,
season.
I think, since the 1923 or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah.
Also,
the quickest he's won the league is from the record's amazing. It's like 80 years or something.
And bear in mind also, it's not in the SPL he's doing it in. We have a Scottish team actually doing well in Europe.
In Europa.
But Celtic,
Scotland are embarrassing. Scottish teams are embarrassing in Europe.
They've actually only conceded 2 goals at home this season in the league, and they could go unbeaten, and they've only got 6 games left.
Goals.
I don't even say Scotland. I just say Celtic because every time Celtic go into Europe, they are an absolute joke. That's as simple as it gets. The fans can be mad about that statement, but if they look at their history in Europe, and I'm not talking about going back to the years where you can do this, and Red Star Belgrade won Champions League as well. Where are they now? So, look, Celtic, when they go to Europe in the last 20 years, have just not been good enough. They have 1 or 2 shining moments. They beat us, for example. They have 1 or 2 good performances against.
They took Milan to extra time when Kaká scored that mad goal.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, so they've got some good performances in there, but Rangers are out there right now doing their thing. They're performing well, and they're getting further in the competition. That's something to be praised and praised for, because the way Celtic are playing football as well, it's not some sort of fluky sort of pass fire when they're like, oh wow, Rangers are doing this. How have they got there? They're getting there on merit. They're beating teams on merit. They're actually humbling teams, and they're doing their thing. So that's why I can also see the reason why Gerrard's being linked. But I think it's too premature still to get onto that because Liverpool just came off a Champions League and then a Premier League next year. So to now just go from that to, okay, I know they're doing badly this year, but to go from should Klopp go and Gerrard come in because he won the SPL, you gotta take time. But if he wins the SPL again and again and again, because Celtic have a lot more money, Celtic can get a lot more managers attracted to the team and players. If they can dominate with that and get past them, because they will lose players, they will lose Morelos. Defoe's not going to be there forever. For example, he's old now.
He's on loan as well, isn't he?
But he's
on loan as well, isn't he?
I think he is on loan. Yeah. Oh no, he made it permanent. Thing. But again, they will lose players because someone like Morelos he's a good player. He'll want to move on from the Scottish League at some point, go and play at a higher level of league. But if he loses players and brings in better players, and we always, like Darren T said, he knows the game. If he brings in better players and they win more titles, at some point, I'm going to look at it and say, look, it's SPL. But like I say, quality is quality. And if he's going to get the IQ of the game and he knows how to build a team, wouldn't surprise me to see him at Anfield at the end of 2024.
Maybe. He's no Frank Lampard, I'll tell you that for free.
No, because his uncle didn't call him to make calls to get a job, did he? No.
Hey, he got that job really, really shiftily. I wouldn't.
I know.
Justify that, but it is what it is. Anyway, we will wrap it up there. Thank you guys for joining us, Mr. Darren T. Where can they find you?
On Twitter, Mr. Darren T, as it says, your friendly neighborhood football agent. You can find me on LinkedIn. That'll be on my Twitter, I think, as well. So yeah, pretty much there.
Daniel, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter, my personal Twitter at Papilo. The O is a 017. And then I'm launching a new podcast, Season's End, called No Agenda Podcast. So just follow that and stay tuned.
Ty, where can they find you?
Yeah, thank you. Just want to say, first of all, Kojo, Cahill, thank you so much for having me on, man. Brilliant chat today. Love the chemistry as well. Wicked. And Darren and Daniel, big up yourselves as well. You can find me Tyrone MC __, and then the generic podcast which we've set up is Never a Foul, which you can see in the name there. And also, if you're a Manchester United fan, Kojo will be joining me hopefully next week. If you follow Tunnel Trafford, that's dedicated to Manchester United, and we also have podcasts for other platforms. But yeah, make sure you're supporting 3inMidfield, liking and subscribing their content. We're all supporting each other, man.
Appreciate
Coach, where can they find us?
Before I say that, if anyone missed that, their links to all their Twitters and their YouTubes are in the bio below. So if you missed that, go and find it over there. And other than that, you can find us obviously right here on YouTube at 3inMidfield. If you are listening to audio, it's Spotify, it's SoundCloud, it's Apple Podcasts, 3inMidfield, and come and tweet with us, talk with us. I am usually tweeting a lot of crud for every fan. Doesn't matter who you support. Even my own team can get it on Twitter at 3inMidfield. Come check us out. That's number 3, by the way, because some people have told us that they're typing in the word 3, and I don't know why you do that. Don't know why you do that. But yeah, 3inMidfield. Come check us out.
Blimey. This has been another episode of the 3inMidfield podcast. Good night.